What the hell happened here?
Hey everyone, Deci's here with another video. Today I am back on the Druid Verzal, but I wanted to make this video more discussion based, I suppose. I wanted to talk about the upcoming time lock progression servers, Teek and Tormax, and kind of just talk about my thoughts regarding if I'm going to play on them, and also kind of just the concept of time lock progressions in general, as well as my own former experience with them. And I think this is a good opportunity if you have your own experiences playing on time lock progressions. Do you enjoy them? Do you kind of rotate every year to different servers, or have you sticked on one for long periods of time even if newer ones came out? I think it's an important talking point, especially for the longevity of the game. And we all know that we all love Everquest, but the population size isn't like most modern AAA games. I mean, World of Warcraft is one of the top MMOs, but just the concept of adding new servers every year and somewhat diluting the player base and spreading them out thin throughout all these different servers, kind of the principle that's set when that happens. I think it's interesting to look at. We do know that some of the servers in the past, over 10 years ago, I know the Fippy Darkpaw server, I believe very old time lock progression servers are merged into live servers, but I know many still are not. Ragefire, it came out in 2015, and it is still just its own individual server on the server list. I logged in a month ago or so. I have a level 70 paladin with an epic 1.5. I really enjoyed my time on that server, but it was kind of sad. I logged in and I checked how many people were in the general chat, and there was 12 people. It's kind of just something that, I don't know, it has kind of a weird feeling. It's like you're just walking into a ghost town.
What the hell happened here?
And you kind of remember the presence of what it used to be, and I think that's just kind of an important thing about life is to identify that, and things move on. But I think it's interesting that the developers still keep these ghost towns up and running, because I'm sure they're not free to keep going. And coming back to gameplay, I think I kind of want to move to a different spot on this druid, because there's a lot of mobs in this area, but they're all kind of either too low level or a little too high level. Looks like I found the wasp here. That's perfect. But anyway, with the time lock progression server Teek coming out, it's gonna have the same rule set as Mischief, so there'll be random loot, and the loot will not be no trade for most of the loot, besides important quest items and epics. I think that gameplay style is just really fun, and it makes the game more refreshing, because you don't need to go to specific areas for specific items. It kind of allows you to just explore for the sake of exploration, and any named mob that you do find will have relevant loot depending on the level gear within that pool. So I think I'm definitely going to play on it, and I'm determining if I want to play a shaman or a druid like this character. I've not played either of the class too much, and I gotta keep track of my health here, but I am kind of leaning towards playing a shaman. I like the aesthetic of it. I like that they have a lot of utility. Come on, we got this. Do the wasps run away? Oh my god. Oh, this is embarrassing. Like in the last video, it's not a successful video if I don't die at least once. I did have Spirit of the Wolf though, so that kind of sucks. Anyway, let's run back to my dead body. But yeah, for the time lock progression servers with the random loot, it's very nice feature. Like Mischief is probably like one of the most successful time lock progression servers in Everquest. I think there's reason to that because the rule set is it just makes the game a lot more fun and honestly a lot more accessible. You can trade raid loot and pretty much every piece of gear can be recycled between different characters. There's once later expansions come out and armor becomes attunable, which if you equip it on your inventory, it is locked to you and nobody else can equip it after that. Removing that and no trade, it just makes the economy, hey, I remember that guy from the last video. It makes the economy just a lot more healthy in my opinion. Just gear is more freely exchanged and people get what they want. And I think that that's never a bad thing. And it also depends on the kind of gaming atmosphere that the server wants to provide. In Project 1999, it's honestly very similar. Most gear is not no trade, and you can equip it at any level mostly. There's no attunable gear. There is some no trade gear, the epic, certain raid gear, other quest items and stuff. But I think that's why people love Project 1999 so much, is that open, freely exchanged economy of gear and weapons. And that's very similar to what Teek and Mischief provide, but on a more kind of modern scale of things, since it's on the live client, so there's a lot more quality of life adjustments to whether it be experience, XP modifiers, I guess that's the same thing, damage output. I know there's like the mitigation of the mighty buff on raid mobs, which it can hinder and help players, I believe. I don't have too much experience raiding. And that's probably something else I want to talk about in a later video. It's just my experience with raiding and how I don't really enjoy it as much as just the leveling experience itself. For myself, I'm definitely going to play on Teek. I'm not going to play on Tormax. I don't really understand the logic behind adding a Teek style server and then another server with very standard rule sets. I think it will not only hinder Tormax itself. Honestly, I think, yeah, it really only does hinder Tormax. I don't think it'll have any effect on Teek. I think about 95% of the people who are gonna play on the time lock progressions coming out are gonna play on Teek just because it has a more interesting rule set. I think that's what people are kind of yearning for more as time advances. We've played Everquest so many times in its standard form, its standard imitation, besides like certain emulated servers, that having a rule set with more of a unique style of gameplay is just going to be more sought after in a game that is almost 3 decades old. So that just makes sense. In essence, those were kind of the topics that I wanted to briefly talk about. I didn't even kill one mob in this gameplay, but I think it just gives me an opportunity to just have like a stream of consciousness discussion, because it's just nice background footage. So I hope you enjoyed the atmosphere of Misty Thicket again. I'll probably do a video on my Necromancer pretty soon. I'm going to be taking out some Spectres. I logged in a little earlier today, but the camp was taken, so I'm just gonna probably log in a bit later, see if it's open, and probably record some footage there. But if you're still watching the video, I really appreciate it, and all the support and all the comments and feedback. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, I would really appreciate if you did. We're nearing 500 subscribers, which is awesome, and I make primarily right now EverQuest content like this, but expect to see some different kind of content in the future. If you liked the video, I'd appreciate if you liked it. If you didn't like it, go ahead and dislike it. Either way helps me out, but I really hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.